Welcome to ML's English Podcast, the show where English learning meets mindset growth. Whether you're here to boost your vocabulary, speak with confidence, or build a strong, unstoppable mindset, you're in the perfect place. Get ready for powerful tips, real conversations, and high energy that will move you forward. This is more than just a podcast. This is your new routine for success. For this deep dive, we're plunging into a topic that is profoundly human, universally felt, yet, well, often tricky to articulate: our emotions.
That's right. And understanding, expressing, navigating feelings, especially when you're doing it in English, it just opens up so much more than linguistic fluency. It's really a pathway to deeper connection and self-awareness, too.
Absolutely. So our mission today is really to unpack why understanding and talking about our feelings is so crucial. And not just for language learners, really, but for anyone looking to communicate more authentically. We'll explore the specific vocabulary that adds that bit of nuance, those fantastic idioms that make English sound, well, so natural, right?
Yeah, they really do.
And the conversational strategies that help build genuine connection. This isn't just about, adding words to your list. It's about equipping you with the tools to express yourself clearly, empathetically, and to navigate this rich landscape of human emotion with confidence. So let's kick off with maybe a fundamental question. It's something many people, honestly, regardless of their native language, kind of wrestle with. Why is it often difficult to talk about how we truly feel? And yet, why is it so incredibly important for our well-being and, well, our communication?
It is a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all have feelings all the time, but putting them into words can sometimes feel like you're navigating a maze.
Yeah.
But the benefits of doing it are just immense. One major aspect is our mental health. You can sort of think of it like a release valve.
Okay.
When we bottle things up, stress, sadness, even sometimes overwhelming joy that can fester inside, expressing them, actually giving them a voice, it's kind of like letting out that pressure. It stops it from becoming a heavier burden. It really allows for emotional processing.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like acknowledging what's going on inside so it doesn't end up, consuming you.
Exactly.
And what about the impact on how we interact with other people?
Right. Well, that's huge, too. When we clearly express how we're feeling, we dramatically improve our communication. People don't have to guess anymore or make assumptions about what's going on with us. If you actually say, look, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by this project right now, suddenly your colleague understands maybe why you're quieter or maybe a bit slower. They don't misinterpret it as you being disinterested or something.
Yeah, that clarity, it cuts through so much potential guesswork and misinterpretation.
Exactly. So much. And that leads directly to stronger relationships. Sharing your feelings, whether it's, happiness about a success or maybe sadness over a setback, it builds intimacy. It builds trust. Imagine sharing something vulnerable, like saying, actually, I'm feeling really anxious about this presentation tomorrow. A friend or family member can then respond with empathy, right? Offer support, or maybe just listen. That act of sharing, it creates a deeper connection, a more resilient one. It's like building a shared emotional vocabulary. It builds bridges between people.
A shared emotional vocabulary that bridges gaps. I really like that framing. So for you, our listener, what this all really means is that consciously understanding and articulating your emotions is, well, it's foundational.
It really is.
It's not just about becoming a fluent English speaker. It's about cultivating greater self-awareness, fostering healthier mental well-being, and building more profound, authentic connections in, every part of your life. This is where language genuinely becomes a tool for personal growth. Now, okay, let's delve into the actual language we use. We all start with those sort of foundational words for emotions, right? The building blocks you hear every single day. But even here, there's nuance to explore. It's not just about simple definitions.
Absolutely. Take words like happy, sad, angry. They seem simple, universal. But think about the subtle energy each one carries. Someone who's happy might just be content. Quiet contentment, or they could be really excited, like buzzing with anticipation, like before a holiday trip you've been looking forward to.
Right. And on the flip side, sadness. That can range from, a fleeting disappointment, like when it rains all day and you wanted to go out, to a really profound grief. True sorrow is a much deeper state.
Exactly. And anger, it isn't just about wanting to shout, is it? It can be that slow burn of frustration, like when you're trying to assemble furniture and the instructions make no sense.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right. Or it can be just a sudden flash of irritation, maybe when you just missed the bus.
Yeah. Or then there's tiredness. That can be physical exhaustion, after a really long day, or it could even be mental fatigue. And what about scared and nervous? They often get confused, but they have distinct flavors, don't they?
They do, yes. Scared often implies a more direct, immediate threat.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're watching a spooky movie or you hear a strange noise in the house at night. That's being scared.
Uh-huh.
Whereas nervous usually relates more to future uncertainty or maybe performance anxiety, that jittery feeling you get before a big test or speaking in front of people. I definitely remember feeling nervous before our first deep dive.
Huh, me too.
The difference is subtle, but it's important if you want to be precise in how you express yourself.
It really is about painting a clearer picture, isn't it? So these foundational words, when you understand their broader context, they're your first tools for starting to communicate that inner landscape.
Now, here's a practical point, something really useful for anyone learning English, which comes up quite a bit. The difference, or lack thereof, between I feel and I am when you're talking about emotions.
Yes, okay, this can sometimes trip people up. What's the key insight here?
Well, the main thing to remember is that for expressing your current emotional state, both I feel happy and I am happy are almost always correct, and they're understood perfectly.
Okay.
They both describe your present condition. You can say, I feel tired, or I am tired. The meaning is essentially the same. Any nuance is usually very subtle, maybe down to personal preference or a very specific context.
So the practical advice is,
Don't worry too much about it.
yeah.
Honestly, don't get caught up trying to find some deep difference, especially at this stage. Both options are perfectly fine. Just pick one and use it. The confidence to actually say it is what matters most.
That's excellent, really practical advice. It's about building confidence, getting the message across, not getting bogged down in tiny grammatical points that hardly make a difference. Just pick one and communicate. Okay, so once we've got those basic emotions down, how do we move beyond them? How do we articulate feelings with more granularity, more depth? This is where your emotional vocabulary really starts to expand, right?
Exactly. This is where we add more vibrant shades to our emotional palette, you can say. Take overwhelmed, for instance. It's much more than just being tired or stressed.
Right.
It's that feeling of being completely buried under a mountain of tasks or responsibilities, like you just can't cope. Think of a student, maybe, facing way too much homework, too many exams, that's being truly overwhelmed.
That definitely hits home for a lot of people, not just students. It's that feeling of just having way too much on your plate. Okay, then there's anxious, which we sort of touched on earlier.
Right. So while nervous is often about an immediate identifiable pressure point, anxious usually implies a more persistent, sort of generalized worry about the future. It's that knot in your stomach before a really important job interview, perhaps, or just a constant unease about things you can't control. It's a deeper, more pervasive kind of worry.
Mm-hmm. And then a really lovely feeling, proud. It's more than just happy, isn't it?
Oh, much more. Proud implies this deep satisfaction and fulfillment, usually from achieving something significant yourself, or maybe seeing someone you care about achieve something great.
Yeah.
Finishing a huge project at work or watching your child learn to ride their bike, that feeling of immense satisfaction, that validation,
Yeah.
that's pride. It speaks to accomplishment and worth.
It's a fantastic feeling to be able to express. Okay, on the other end of the spectrum, there's lonely.
Lonely is particularly poignant, I think, because it's that feeling of isolation, even when you might be surrounded by people.
Right.
It's a deep longing for connection, for someone to really see you, understand you. And it's okay to feel lonely sometimes. Acknowledging it is often the first step towards seeking that connection.
Absolutely. It's so important to acknowledge complex emotions like that. And then we have confident.
Confident. That's about self-assurance, isn't it? Believing in your own abilities, feeling prepared, capable. Like knowing the answer in class and putting your hand straight up without hesitating. It's a really powerful state for personal growth, feeling confident.
Yeah.
That internal certainty, yeah. And finally for this group, let's talk about disappointed.
Disappointed. It goes beyond just being sad. It's that emotional letdown when your hopes or expectations or maybe your plans just don't work out the way you wanted. It's the feeling when your favorite team loses a really important game, or maybe when a project you poured your heart into doesn't succeed. It's that gap between what you hoped for and what actually happened.
These words really do allow you to paint a much more vivid, much more precise picture of your internal world. They add so much depth to your communication.
Okay, so now you have these more nuanced words. But how do you express the intensity? How strong is the feeling? This is where adverbs are incredibly useful. We can use words like a bit, a little, very, really, completely, or even extremely.
Yes, this is so key for accuracy. Think about the massive difference between being a bit sad and completely devastated.
A bit sad might be, I don't know, dropping your ice cream cone. It's momentary, mild disappointment. But completely devastated, well, that's reserved for something far more significant, isn't it? Like losing something or someone incredibly important to you.
Precisely. Or consider a little bit nervous versus extremely anxious. A little bit nervous could be just before a casual presentation at work, but extremely anxious implies a much, much higher level of distress and worry. These modifiers, these adverbs, they let you calibrate your emotional expression. It makes your communication so much more authentic, more relatable.
It really adds that layer of nuance and realism. It helps your English sound natural and precise, letting you convey exactly how strong your feelings are. Right, let's shift gears a bit to something that really brings English to life. Idioms. These phrases where the meaning isn't literal, but oh, they're so common and they make your English sound really natural, really integrated. I just find them endlessly fascinating.
They're fantastic, aren't they?
Mhm.
Great for adding character to your speech. One I particularly like is, "I'm on cloud nine."
Ah, a class.
It is. It doesn't mean you're literally floating, of course. It just means you are absolutely overwhelmingly happy, utterly elated. Like maybe your long-awaited vacation starts tomorrow and you just feel pure joy.
That's such a great visual for pure happiness. Okay, what about when you're not feeling so great?
Well, then you might say, "I'm feeling under the weather."
Hmm.
This is a very common, quite polite way to say you're feeling a bit sick, maybe you have a cold or something, but you don't want to go into all the details. It's a nice, culturally accepted softener.
Very useful, especially for, politely declining an invitation when you're not feeling up to it.
Exactly. Another interesting one is, "He's walking on eggshells." This paints such a clear picture, doesn't it?
It really does.
Imagine literally trying to walk on fragile eggshells. You'd be incredibly careful, moving very slowly and deliberately.
Right.
So the idiom means someone is being extremely cautious with their words or their actions because they're trying hard not to upset someone who gets angry easily or is maybe very sensitive.
That's a powerful metaphor for those really delicate situations. And then a really heartfelt one. It broke my heart.
Ah, yes. This idiom conveys profound sadness or really deep disappointment. It's not a literal breaking, obviously, but it captures that immense pain, that deep sorrow, often linked to loss or maybe betrayal, like
Mm.
hearing the news that your beloved dog ran away, that kind of deep emotional wound.
Oof, yeah. These idioms, they definitely take a little practice to remember and use naturally, but using them not only makes your English more expressive, it also shows a deeper understanding of conversational English. Definitely worth the effort. So we spent some time talking about how to articulate our own feelings, but a really crucial part of emotional intelligence in communication is asking others how they are feeling and doing it in a way that truly opens the door for them to share if they want to.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond just a superficial greeting. While "how are you" is standard, let's be honest, it often just gets an automatic "I'm fine, thanks."
Right, fine is the default.
It is. So, to genuinely connect, you can maybe elevate the question a bit. Consider asking something like, "How are you really feeling?" That little word really signals genuine interest. It invites a more honest response.
That small addition makes such a difference. It changes the whole dynamic. Or perhaps if someone seems a bit troubled or down, offering, do you want to talk about it?
That's perfect. Because it offers choice, doesn't it? It creates a safe space. It essentially says, "Look, I'm here. I'm ready to listen if you want to talk, but there's absolutely no pressure." It's an open invitation, not an intrusion.
Yeah, respectful. And what if someone just seems withdrawn or preoccupied, maybe staring into space?
Ah, a thoughtful question then might be, is something on your mind?
I like that one too.
Yeah, is something on your mind? It gently probes if they're maybe burdened by thoughts or worries they might actually want to share. These are all just, well, empathetic ways to approach someone. They show you genuinely care about what's going on inside them and that you're ready to listen. They're so vital for building deeper human connections.
And then, of course, once someone has shared something with you, maybe something difficult, the next crucial step is how we respond. Responding with kindness, with support, with genuine empathy. What are some effective phrases from an English communication standpoint?
Well, empathy really, at its core, it means understanding and sharing the feelings of another person. Trying to put yourself in their shoes, essentially. So if someone expresses deep sadness, responding with something simple like, "That must be really hard," acknowledges their difficulty. It validates their feeling.
Yeah.
You're not trying to fix it, just recognizing it.
That validation is so important, isn't it? Or maybe saying, I understand how you feel. That builds immediate relatability, even if your own experiences aren't exactly the same.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And then there's the incredibly powerful yet simple, I'm here for you.
Mm.
This is just a bedrock phrase of support. It signifies, you are not alone in this. I will stand by you. It can be immensely comforting to hear that.
That's truly impactful. It offers both practical support potentially and emotional presence.
Absolutely. And finally, a phrase that's simple but really effective, especially after someone's been vulnerable. Thanks for sharing that with me.
Ah, yes.
When someone opens up, especially about difficult things, it often takes real courage. Expressing gratitude for their vulnerability, it reinforces trust. It makes it more likely they'll feel safe sharing with you again in the future. It really strengthens the bond between you.
These empathetic responses, they really are the building blocks for strong, meaningful relationships, aren't they? They show you're not just hearing the words, but you're truly listening to the person behind them.
Okay, let's try and put this all into action now with some real-life scenarios. This is where, the rubber meets the road, and we can see how these words and phrases actually come alive in conversation.
Great idea. Let's imagine you've had a genuinely challenging day at work. Really tough. How might you express that, maybe professionally but clearly, perhaps to a colleague or even your partner when you get home? Okay, well, I might say something like, Phew, I'm feeling a bit frustrated and actually pretty overwhelmed today. There were some tech glitches that wasted time, and then I had back-to-back meetings that just left me feeling totally drained.
That's very clear.
Or if it's maybe more of a general, ongoing feeling, I might say, honestly, I'm feeling a bit burned out this week.
Burned out, that's an excellent, slightly more advanced phrase to use. It really captures that feeling of being extremely tired and stressed, usually from excessive work, feeling emotionally and physically just depleted.
Yeah, it implies you really need a rest.
It does. And you can follow up with something like, I think I really need a mental break.
That clearly indicates you need to step away, clear your head. It's a very common and well-understood phrase in professional English-speaking environments.
Okay, so those are practical, professional ways to talk about stress without sounding, unprofessional. Now, how about expressing sheer excitement? Something really positive is happening. Oh, easy and fun. You could say, I am absolutely thrilled about my vacation next week. I've been planning it for ages.
Hmm.
Or let's use an idiom. I'm completely on cloud nine about finally seeing that concert tomorrow. It just conveys that boundless enthusiasm, that pure joy.
Love it. Okay, and what if it's a feeling of deep disappointment, maybe after a personal setback or perhaps a difficult breakup? How do you convey that depth of feeling?
You might say something like, I'm feeling incredibly sad and really disappointed about the breakup. Honestly, it really broke my heart. That idiom adds significant weight.
It does.
Or perhaps I'm still feeling a bit raw after that decision didn't go our way. I had such high hopes for that project.
Raw is a good word there. It suggests feeling vulnerable, sensitive because of recent emotional pain. These examples really show how having precise vocabulary lets us articulate complex situations much better. Absolutely. The goal is always to use the right word for the right moment, for the right intensity, and these scenarios illustrate that beautifully. Now, let's just briefly touch on something really fascinating, the cultural aspect of emotional expression. Our deep dive wouldn't really be complete without acknowledging how different cultures approach talking about feelings, would it?
No, it's a huge piece of the puzzle, actually. It varies so much. In some cultures, there's a really strong emphasis on, let's say, emotional reserve. Feelings might be considered quite private, and showing them overtly might be less common, maybe even discouraged.
Right.
And then in other cultures, it might be completely normal, even expected, to share how you feel quite openly as part of everyday interaction.
This raises a really interesting point about English-speaking cultures, doesn't it? While, of course, generalizations are always tricky,
Very tricky.
it's often observed that English, particularly in maybe Western contexts, can feel quite direct, quite open when it comes to expressing emotions.
That's generally true, yes.
Yeah.
In many English-speaking environments, being able to clearly articulate your feelings is often seen as a positive trait. It can be perceived as a sign of honesty, authenticity, maybe even self-awareness. It can help build trust. And sometimes it's even linked to ideas of maturity or emotional intelligence. Conversely, if someone consistently bottles things up in certain situations, that might be misinterpreted, maybe as disengagement or aloofness or even dishonesty in some contexts.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener, on your language journey? Well, it means that learning to express emotions in English isn't just about memorizing vocabulary. It's also about understanding a subtle but pretty significant cultural expectation.
Hmm.
Embracing this potential for openness can actually enhance your connections and interactions within English-speaking contexts. It's a key part of truly integrating into the language's cultural landscape, you could say.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with a couple of really actionable tips. Things you can do to truly improve your emotional vocabulary and deepen your expressive abilities.
Great. My top recommendation, and it's something I personally find incredibly insightful, is to try starting a feelings journal. In English, of course.
Ah, good one.
Just dedicate a few minutes each day. Write down how you're feeling and, crucially, why. Today I feel content because the sun is shining, or this morning I felt a bit anxious about my meeting, but now I feel more calm after it went well.
That's really powerful because it forces you to actively find and use the words. My second tip builds on that. Consciously practice describing your day using emotional language. Instead of just settling for a simple, my day was good, try something like, actually, my day was quite stressful at first, but then I felt incredibly proud after I managed to solve that tricky problem.
Right.
The more you integrate these specific emotional words into your daily narrative, just talking to yourself or writing it down, the more natural they'll become over time.
Exactly. Consistency is absolutely key here. The more you practice, the more these nuances will just embed themselves in your thinking and your speaking. And please remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's honestly where genuine learning and growth always happen. Talking about your feelings, it's truly a lifelong journey, isn't it? Both in language and in life itself. And you're already taking significant steps just by engaging with this.
Absolutely. And we are genuinely so proud of all of you for committing to this journey of learning and growth with us. Keep going.
That's a wrap for today's episode on MLS English Podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and maybe share this episode with someone who you know is serious about growing both in English and in life. Keep practicing, keep pushing your boundaries, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's grow together.